Hi, I'm Jannik Hanfman.
I'm Ilya Marchenko.
I'm Dennis Kudla.
This is Sebastian Olfner.
It's Andrea Whistler.
I am Francisco Cerundolo.
And you're listening to the Game to Love podcast. Hopefully you enjoy it.
Hopefully.
Hey, welcome back, tennis fans. We've had a fantastic week of tennis. It was the Masters over in Canada. We had Montreal. We had Jessica Pegula winning that one. And we also had Jannik Sinner winning Toronto, winning his first ever Masters 1000 event. Well done to both of those. But how will they fare come the US Open, which is not too long away, is it, JG?
No, exactly 2 weeks to go until the US Open. It's coming around quick. It's the last slam of 2023. Djokovic has 2 of them. Alcaraz has 1 on the men's. On the women's, it's a little bit more up in the air. Of course, Iga's look good. Saba's look good in spells as well. But maybe the US Open can pull a surprise. We know famously on the women's for the US Open, there is often a shock. We had Raducanu not too long ago, and maybe we could get one this year. But we're going to get all into it in this episode of The Countdown. We'll do all of our usual sections. So thank you for joining and welcome to The Countdown.
Novak Djokovic has won the Australian Open 35 matches unbeaten. He's done it! Carlos Alcaraz! He wins his 14th Roland Garros title! Carlos Alcaraz wins the US Open and his first Grand Slam title!
Yes, come on. The US Open, only 2 weeks away.
I mean, it was so good last year. Do you not think, the US Open?
I thought it was the best one. Yeah.
Yeah, it was a really good addition. And I know I was pretty disappointed about the whole Rafael Nadal situation. He looked old at last year's US Open and he struggled against Francis TFO, went out early. But I just found the whole Sinner, Alcaraz, TFO, it was just so fun. And on the women's, it wasn't too bad either. But the men's really stole the show. Are we going to see something amazing this year? Definitely that intro does get me hyped. Are we going to see more Carlos Alcaraz magic? We'll have to wait and see. But in Toronto, in Canada, he didn't look great, did he?
No, I mean, it's just, you can't be amazing all the time. But he did come up against somebody who sometimes has his number in Tommy Paul. And he's lost to him twice now, both over in Canada as well, which I think is a little bit crazy. And I think it's good to see some vulnerability from Carlos Alcaraz here and there because we know he's not the complete package yet. I mean, he does show us amazing brilliance most of the year, and we're still so young as well. But when you see him lose the odd match here and there, I think it's a good opportunity for him to learn, for him to reset, and then for him to come back stronger as well. And in this tournament, which will be played this week, obviously we have Cincinnati going on. He may get the chance to avenge his defeat to Tommy Paul because they are sort of on a collision course for, I think it's a second round matchup, but I'll have to have a look at some of the results to see if that is even a possibility.
Yeah, I mean, Toronto was quite excited, actually. It's a shame we didn't get to cover many watch-alongs, but we did watch a lot of the tennis. I know we were speaking about, I thought Gaumont Feast was a great story. Of course, Sinner we're going to get onto in a minute because he is the contender for this episode. I really liked Davidovich Fokina. I thought he was amazing. Beat some top players. But let's get into it. Let's start off with the contenders. So let's press the button if I can find it.
It's on there somewhere.
There it is.
Ooh.
And we've been quite strict, really, with this segment on all of the other episodes of The Countdown, where we pick only 2 players and we go through it. On today's one, we're going to have 2 questions rather than 2 players. And the questions are going to be this. Sinner has just won Toronto. The question we're going to be speaking about is, can he trouble Djokovic and Alcaraz? I think that is the one which a lot of people now are discussing. He's won his first Masters title. You'd think now the natural progression is he's got that out of the way. The next obstacle is a Grand Slam. Can he manage to just do something special in the Grand Slam? We've seen him in a semi-final, or was it multiple semi-finals now? He goes deep in the Grand Slams. He just can't get it over the line. And he doesn't look like he's ever going to beat Djokovic in a Grand Slam. But my question to you is that going to happen? And of course, on the women's, we'll speak about that in a minute. But it's just about how Pegula is going to handle, because obviously she's just won her Canadian Open as well. Yep. In Montreal, is that right?
Correct.
And how's she going to handle the big three, Iga, Rybakina, Sabalenka? Can she challenge them? Let's start with the men's. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, it's the old adage, isn't it? The best of three versus the best of five debate. And the biggest thing I think that we've got to look at from Jannik Sinner is last year's US Open. And arguably, if Alcaraz didn't win it, Jannik Sinner was like a point away from potentially beating Carlos Alcaraz last year. And had he managed to get that over the line, I think he probably would have gone on and won the tournament. If I'm perfectly honest, that's my personal opinion. I think he would have probably won the US Open last year, but for Carlos Alcaraz. I mean, am I being too generous? I don't think so. I thought he played incredibly well in that match, and that was sort of, for me, sort of a final before the final, really, the Sinner Alcaraz one.
Yeah, it was special. Everyone was saying how much they enjoyed it, and it was like a little taste into what tennis is going to be like post the big three.
Yeah.
And everyone was entertained. I certainly was. It was a ridiculously long match. Of course, Alcaraz won the US Open after playing the longest amount of time on court in the history of the US Open to then win it. So that was remarkable. Sinner, can he trouble Djokovic and Alcaraz? I think you need to sort of split that question down the middle and just tackle each one individually, because with Alcaraz, I feel like he can beat him. I don't know what it is about that matchup, but it seems to be quite close at times. I do believe Alcaraz is the better player, and I think he's a little bit more advanced. And we've noticed, I think, in the last time they played, there was a little bit of a bigger distance, I thought. However, saying that, Sinner's beaten him multiple times now, and there's nothing to say that he can't beat him at the US Open. Last year's one, it was a toss of a coin who won it. There wasn't much in it. In fact, probably Sinner played slightly better in large spells of that match. So I do believe that Sinner has the ability to knock out Carlos Alcaraz at the US Open if they are to meet before the final, or even in the final. I think he's got the ability to beat him. When you pose the question of Djokovic, I still don't think, even with this Masters under his belt, that he can beat him. I find him still a little bit weak in the middle. I find him a little bit intimidated when he comes up against Nadal, probably even Federer if he come out of retirement. I think we'd see a different Jannik Sinner or Djokovic. And that is a bit of a worry at this current stage. Will the Masters victory give him some extra confidence? I hope so. And he's come close against Djokovic. This year's Wimbledon performance a few months ago, I thought was disappointing. Well, not even a few. It was like last month. I didn't think he played very well in it, and I thought Djokovic took him apart, come close in a set, but that was about it. However, the year before, he did take 2 sets of Djokovic and then lost it, but it looked a lot better on that occasion. So, yeah, I'm super torn on whether he can beat him in a Grand Slam. I'm interested to hear what you guys have to say. Of course, we don't know if their paths are going to meet, but thinking about who can potentially win this US Open, can you put Sinner's name in there? I think you have to, really, because he's got the ability to completely avoid Novak Djokovic and be on the side of Alcaraz, and Djokovic could go out. So you don't know how that's going to play out. And if it does, just like last year, if Sinner beat Alcaraz, I reckon he would have won it as well.
Well, this is the extra dynamic that we now have. I know that we've been speaking on all of the other countdown episodes about the potential of Daniil Medvedev and his positioning in the draw for Alcaraz and Djokovic. And now I feel you've got to look at where Jannik Sinner sits in the draw as well. You can't just look at Daniil Medvedev. You have to think both of the players, more so Alcaraz, he'll be wanting to avoid Jannik Sinner on his side of the draw. He won't want to be having to run the gauntlet and go through another 5-set match against, 5 hours on court to try and get through to another semi or even potentially a final. So I'm going to play devil's advocate here, even though I'm riding Sinner big at the moment. I know pre-season December, I actually have Sinner as my US Open winner, which at the moment, quite happy with how he's coming into form at the moment. But, and I'm going to throw this in there just as a devil's advocate, if we look through who he played to get to that Wimbledon semi-final, we know he didn't play anybody below, 70 in the world all the way until he met Djokovic.
Easy draw.
Okay, now I'm going to go to this one. He won his first Masters. He beat Berrettini. I thought that was a good result. Walkover against Murray. Monfils, I thought Monfils was in great form. I thought that was a really good matchup. But then to play Paul and then de Minaur as your semi and final, is that a slightly...
No, I disagree with you.
Okay, I'm throwing it up there just
I disagree with you massively. I don't think it was an easy draw at all.
No, I don't
either. You can try and paint it to be that Tommy Paul and de Minaur, they're two really good players on hard courts. I've seen both of them do very well against Rafael Nadal when he was playing on top form as well, who you could say is right up there with some of the best hard court players ever. I know everyone says Rafa on hard courts is this and that, but still in the history books, you'd be hard to argue that he's not definitely top 5. I mean, you can make a case for maybe top 3, top 4. And he's been troubled by Alex de Minaur and Tommy Paul. I've seen him on a hard court. They've really pushed him hard. Monfils as well is actually back. Yes. I'm going to confirm that now. He's back playing well. Berrettini,
jumping forehand.
I think Berrettini is actually looking okay at the moment. I know he's had a bit of an issue with his mental health and other issues.
Gone out today, but against Felix. But
I know, but still, I'm still encouraged by it. I think he could do all right actually at the US Open.
With this de Minaur though, just I know I've dressed it up just to say like devil's advocate. He did beat Fritz Medvedev. Fokina in crazy form as well on the way to that that final.
Yeah, and he's also knocking on the door of the top 10. He's at his career high, I believe, of 11 in the world, which has surpassed Nick Kyrgios. Wow. So he has done better than what Nick Kyrgios has ever done in the rankings. So that's quite a big thing for Australian tennis.
I think
Shout out to Alex de Minaur. I think he's class. And I'm a bit disappointed that I didn't put him inside my top 10 start of the year. I think he's going to be a fixture who can hover around there. He's gone up a level for me, and he needs to be respected, just like we respect Tsitsipas, Rublev, Zverev. I don't think he's there, but he's close, and he's got a lot of game and a lot of heart and desire, and he moves better than a lot of them players I've mentioned. So I really like Alex de Minaur, and I'm not going to say it's an easy draw at all based off just him, because I think he's class and young, and he's always learning as well.
Oh, yeah. We forget how young he actually is. And I feel that it was mainly just power and maybe the serve, not having the biggest serve. He's obviously not the biggest stature on the court. That can sometimes affect how easily you can wipe players off the court, especially on the hard courts as well. But Sinner made light work of him in the final. And that just credit to Jannik Sinner, I have to say. I think that it suits his game down to the ground. And I'm hoping that we're going to see similar sort of Sinner entering the US Open in this crazy form that he's sort of found himself in it. The Monfils match, do not be fooled. Monfils, like you said, is back. And he was playing so well. He destroyed Tsitsipas. He beat him in straight sets. So
he's back. He's definitely back. And he beat Eubanks as well. So never easy.
He did it. I like the fact he was doing jumping forehands and stuff like that. That is the real Monfils is back again. So I can't wait to see him play again. And
I don't know. Sometimes they wind me up. I know you like it, and it's all good and well. But sometimes I feel like he's lost matches by being a bit of an idiot in situations. and he's put the showman side before the actual winning. And that's where he's come unstuck against Djokovic many times. You don't see Djokovic messing around like that. I don't mind it in certain times. I know you love it, and it's just something to talk about. And maybe people are thinking I'm a bit boring and negative, but first and foremost, win your tennis match. What I like about Monfils is the way that he always has the spectacular winners after a long rally. You've seen that evident in this event in Toronto. Like, there's so many big rallies. He has no right to keep the point going, and then he ends it with a big winner or some special shot. And I love all that kind of stuff in Monfils. I think he's class.
And he's still, he's 36 years old and he's still one of the fastest round the court. And that's something to behold. He's up against Cam Norrie in the first round of Cincinnati. I think he's going to beat him. That's my personal opinion.
Yeah, just while we're speaking about him, I know we'll go into the odds shortly, but also Svitolina or Elena Monfils, however she wants to be addressed.
Yeah.
Bad news for her. She's mentioned about her foot injury today, so she's pulled out of Cincinnati, but she's hoping to be okay for the US Open. So she had a really good few weeks, really, with the whole Wimbledon success. And I guess this foot injury has come at a bad time. But if she's all right for the US Open, then all's good and well.
Yeah, most definitely. Right, let's move on to the odds. They haven't really changed on the men's side.
Has Sinner not become shortened a little bit?
Nah, still 11.
Was it 11 before?
Yep, definitely.
I think it's good value then. And let's answer the question then. Can Sinner challenge Alcaraz and Djokovic? The bookies have him as full favourite. Can he challenge them, Ben?
Yes, I believe he can challenge them. I think that the Masters win was...
What, both of them? Can he beat Djokovic at the US Open if he's faced against him?
Yeah, I think he can.
I want you to rank Medvedev, Djokovic, Alcaraz in terms of who Sinner has the best chance of beating.
I still think Djokovic is the toughest one for him. I feel that right now, Daniil Medvedev's probably the easiest. And that's sad to say because I feel like Medvedev, I thought that he would probably be like second on the list. I think he's going third, Alcaraz second, Djokovic the hardest at the moment. Yeah,
and I feel like maybe it's weird. I would actually put Medvedev second. I think Alcaraz is maybe the easiest for Sinner. And I know people are going to disagree with me, but that's how I see it. Anyway, let's move on to the women's. We've had our say on whether we think Sinner can challenge Alcaraz and Djokovic. And I agree with you. I do think he can challenge them big time. And he is a massive contender to win this US Open, though. I think that's going to give him some confidence. I would like to see him play Djokovic and do better than what we've seen in the recent Grand Slams. I want to see him really go toe-to-toe with Djokovic. He's seen Alcaraz do it in a Grand Slam final and beat him. Now it's your turn, Jannik. You've got the shots. Like, it is frustrating because he's got everything. He's got the tools. Yeah. Nobody hits the ball like he does at the moment on tour. It's effortless. No. And he has the ability to beat him. Let's see if he can do it. And moving on to the women, Jessica Pegula, can she do it against the big three?
Well, I think
One more
thing with Jannik Sinner, just to end it. We said with Alcaraz at Wimbledon, it's sort of like the coming of age. And then the one thing that kept ringing through my head was, cometh the hour, cometh the man to defeat Novak Djokovic. And I feel that now it's sort of that for Jannik Sinner as well. Now is his sort of time to shine. So cometh the hour, cometh the man, cometh the Jannik Sinner to take the US Open this year. All right, let's move on to the women's anyway. That's enough about Jannik Sinner. Let's go on to the old Pegula. And even though she always gets deep in Masters, we don't see her winning as that many, but she paid to that the past week. She destroyed the field. We had, Coco Gauff, her doubles partner, she had to get past. That was a tough three-setter. And then she had to get past Iga, who she notoriously doesn't do too well against. She lost 4 matches in a row against her. Obviously beat her in the United Cup. But and then Samsonova. I feel a bit sorry for Samsonova. Do you not think playing 2 matches on the day of the final is not really fair?
Well, I think that's what the final was not competitive purely because of that. Pegula even said in her speech that she felt a little bit sorry for Samsonova, and she never wanted to really win in them circumstances. I believe that's her second Masters title.
Yeah, I believe so.
But never won that convincingly. I mean, 6-1, 6-love. It's like an Iga score in a final.
Yeah.
She beat Iga in the round before. I thought the whole event was a little bit stop-start with all,
Weather.
of course, the rain delays and issues in Montreal. Seemed to be a lot worse than Toronto. But yeah, saying that, Pegula did extremely well. She beat some tough players. Do I see her challenging the big three at the US Open? I don't really. I know it's on home soil being in the US, and that may give her a bit of a lift. I just don't think she would reciprocate some of these results against the big players in a Grand Slam.
She's a Masters girl, is she?
Well, I don't know. Do you disagree?
I think that it could be another one of those cases where she just needed something like this confidence boost before going into a slam to maybe give her that extra bit. Like beating Iga, I think, is massive for her right now. Like with the US Open just on the horizon. The way she did it wasn't great, though. What was it? About 20 breaks of serve in that whole match. I mean, it was one of those that neither player looked like they wanted to win it. But she managed to get the better of Iga in an ugly match. And sometimes it's just how you win is in the bad days rather than how you win when you're playing well. So she got that one over the line. She has the sort of mental edge now maybe over Iga if they come up against each other, knowing she can just dig deep in what poor circumstances, really.
For me, Pegula's really good early rounds and usually falters towards the end. She beat Iga in a semi-final, which I think is the most encouraging part of all of this event for her. Looking at her Grand Slam successes, so far, she's only ever made a quarter-final in every single Grand Slam. Like, she's never gotten past quarter-final. And it seems to be like, I mean, Australian Open, quarter-final 3 times in a row. Roland Garros quarter-final last year. This year, quarterfinal at Wimbledon, US Open quarterfinal last year. That's her best results. So she's a player who gets to the last 8, and I think that's about as far as she goes. Do I see her now turning the corner after winning this Masters title? I don't. I really don't. Maybe I'm a bit negative on Jess, and I think she is a really good player, but I just feel like quarterfinal is about where she's going to end up. And I feel quarterfinal, she'll get someone like a Sabalenka or even someone who's just playing in inspired form, might be Sakari. And I feel Sakari might beat her or something like that. It could be anyone it could come from. I'm not sure where it's going to happen, but that's how I see it playing out. Well, you can see last year, what did she get to? Quarterfinal, lost to Iga.
Well, you have to think, like, with this Masters win, push her probably up the rankings. You might only face one of these players in a semi-final now.
Well,
and that could be
she's third in the rankings, right?
This is where the saving grace now for her might be higher in the rankings, semi-final, more achievable now.
I think it is more achievable. She won't play one of the big players until maybe a semi-final. But with the US Open, it throws up so many surprises and shocks, especially on the women's. We could be, I don't even know who to say, but like a Vondrousova who just won Wimbledon.
Yeah.
Like a Madison Keys who's just playing crazily good, I reckon could beat her in a quarterfinal.
Yeah, could there just be
I don't even know who the name's going to be, but there could be someone. The whole point is one of us needs to try and find her. And hopefully we get her in the surprise package, whoever it is. But there's going to be a surprise, I can assure you, in the quarterfinals of this US Open in the women's. There may be more than one. There could be all of them, to be honest. But whatever way I dress it up, if we actually Jessica Pegula get to the quarterfinal, I think one of them real informed players could beat her. I think she's got a very good, consistent base level and plays very good. She was very fortunate with the way this draw sort of played out. Of course, did well against Iga. I didn't think Iga was on top form. But saying that, she won it. And I'm not going to discredit her for that. And it may give her a little bit of confidence. And like you say, with a higher ranking, could get to a semi-final. But I don't see, to answer the question, I don't see her challenging the big 3 players in the women's game right now.
Yeah, it's less likely than Sinner, which sounds crazy because there's obviously she's higher ranked than the likes of Jannik Sinner, but these big three seem far more dominant when it comes to slams right now. So obviously Vondrousova inserted her name into the picture during Wimbledon. Probably should have been Jabeurs, really, but never mind. Let's move on to the odds anyway and see where Pegula is in the odds, because be interesting to see if she's moved up, which I think she has. She's now 11s, same as Sinner.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I forget where she was before, but I think she's just tied with Garcia. Maybe Garcia's dropped slightly. Coco Gauff down there as well, quite close. Is it fair? I guess it sounds about right, but I think it's not good value. I don't see her being sort of the full favourite player at this US Open. I think we could see some real shock like down there who could do a bit better. I mean, is Raducanu playing?
No.
She's still there.
I don't know why she's on the odds, to be honest. It's just bizarre.
What, you know for a fact she's not playing? I think she is playing, Ben.
I thought she was recovering from 2 wrist injuries and ankle.
Yeah, maybe
injury.
she'll show him, but I don't think she'll go far.
Don't know about that. I mean, I'm treating it as if she's not playing, to be honest. I mean, if she makes an appearance, she hasn't played any tennis for God knows how long anyway. So anyway, if she has, it's only been on like a practice court somewhere. Yeah, anyway, let's move away from that and let's get on to latest news.
Am I pressing it?
I'll press it. Don't worry. Where is it? Is it down the bottom there? Here we go. Latest news. And this is where we go into Twitter. We type in US Open and we see what pops up. So let's bring it up. And the top thing that's coming up is Ollie Patton is up at the top there saying Casper Ruud hasn't won back-to-back matches on a hard court since the 2022 US Open. And that's excluding ATP finals round robin format. Wow. That is a bit crazy, to be honest.
Casper, yeah, he's been a bit
flaky,
cold, I feel, this year in overall. I don't think he's been as good as last year. Even on the clay courts, he wasn't winning them 250s like he usually does.
Yeah, I mean, obviously he still was able to get through to Roland Garros final, but other than that, it hasn't really come to life this year, has it? To be honest, I mean, he had an all right Rome. He could have probably done a bit better there. He won Estoril.
I think he's just done enough, but I don't see him as a contender for the US Open.
Nah, but we said that last year, and look
he got
where
to
he
the
ended
final.
up.
But I just don't see it. I don't know. I don't think he's going to do it again. I really
Master
don't.
of the good draw, Casper Ruud. Is that what he's known
He's a bit of a Pegula, I feel, but just I see similarities with Ruud and Pegula.
I feel like it because he's such a nice guy on tour. Sometimes they get a bit of good luck. Like the tennis gods look down on them, say, "For all of you, like."
No, I don't think you can say that. I think that's a little bit dismissive. I mean, he's a very good player, Casper Ruud. So is Pegula. They're very good top tennis players, Ben. But it's like there's a level. I don't see him. I don't know. I'm not sure if he's going to win a slam anytime soon.
All right, we'll move
he's
down.
Getting to finals, though.
Oh, who's this? How did he get on there? So Rafa, he's back again. Not sure who's this. This is with Sebastian Yachler.
It's the Rafa Nadal Academy. Yeah. Is this actually today? So Rafa's been playing tennis.
Was this the guy who was singing the song for Alcaraz last week?
I think he is. I think he's some kind of musician.
Is he still promoting this new song? I can't remember what it was called. Cowabunga or something. I don't know.
All right, yeah.
I think anyway, I'm not going to stick too long on that. Nice to see Rafa on the court though.
Yeah, if that is actually today, I'm assuming it is, but that's cool.
Oh.
Hopefully we see
Rafa. No, it's another one of these things again.
Yeah, it's just some paid promotion. Let's move on.
Let's move on from that. Right. Oh, the Djokovic US Open racket. Did we see that last week?
No, but I'm interested in this. Let me go down a little bit. What racket is that?
I mean,
looks quite nice, man.
Yeah, I mean, it looks like it's built.
Oh, it's got a little Novak in the middle. That's
gold
quite cool.
Novak on there.
What does the S say? What does the S say?
Zach's going to be fuming. He just bought Djokovic's old racket. Now he's just got a new
I
one.
must admit, I really like that. I love
Yeah.
the gold on the black.
It looks legendary.
That's a nice racket.
It looks
I
like a
bet it plays
Legends
well as well.
racket, that one.
Nice weight to it.
Look at it. I mean, do you reckon a few slams will be won with that one? Hope so.
Hope
Right,
not.
there's you announced this one already. That was Svitolina out of Cincinnati. It's unfortunate. That's I don't know. I don't want to go through it again. We've already spoken about it. This one is speaking from Christopher Clary, saying prize money for losing round one at the majors in 2023. So this is interesting statistics.
Yeah, Aussie Open 69,000, Roland Garros 75,000, Wimbledon 70,000, US Open 81,000. So it's the highest out of all 4 slams. Keeps going up. It's not more money for losers, but fair reward for those good enough to get into a major. So there's going to be a lot of pressure for these players to get into this US Open this year. The qualifying is going to be tough as it's ever been, and it's a great incentive for any player if they can make a push and get into the ranking position where they can be in the qualifying. Then they're going to be thrilled, I'm sure.
It's amazing.
Or even just to be considered as an alternate, like it's all the hard work and getting all the points to make it worthwhile when you can get into a slam, and even if you lose 81,000.
Fantastic. I absolutely love that. I might enter. Get a wild card in. Right, move down. And this is good news as well. We got Mikhail Samulski saying US Open main singles draw will be revealed on Thursday, the 24th of August. So put that in your diaries, people.
Yeah, that's really good because that is the day before I'm having an operation on my eyes.
Oh no.
So no, it's good news, I guess. That means I can do the live draw reaction. And then I could be out of action for a bit, but I may be still trying to do a draw preview with sunglasses on. So if you do see me with sunglasses on for the start of the US Open, it's because I've had an operation on my eyes.
I mean, some of the draws you've done so far this year, you'd have thought that you had your eyes closed for them. But... anyway, moving down. This will be the last one, I think. And why not? We'll have it with... Looks like the Lovebirds are back again. Is it Tsitsipas? And what's this one saying? Cincy Tennis 2023 pre-tournament interview. Always love Steph's candor, warmth, and how well spoken and lovely he is. Oh, that's very nice to say. Well, it's a 5-minute one. If people want to go in there and check out how lovely Steph speaks, then
what we can talk about before we move on about Stefanos Tsitsipas is his form and how he's been playing tennis, because since Tsitsidoza, has he improved or got worse?
Well, he won one tournament, but I don't know if Los Cabos really even counts, really, when you're at the level of Tsitsipas. I feel it's gone down a little bit. Although, no, I don't know. The Wimbledon one, he had 2 5-set matches against Thiem and Murray, beat Jair, then was out to Eubanks.
Yeah, I don't think he's been on top form tennis-wise at all.
Before that, couldn't string 2 wins together. So French Open was all right until Alcaraz happened. Destroyed him. Right, so...
Anyway, let us know, guys. Let us know in the comment section. What do you think? How do you think Tsitsidoza or Tsitsipas has performed since Tsitsidoza? We're going to move on now to the tennis shootout.
Oh, no, not this one again.
Pete versus Ben. And we are going to both give each other a question regarding the US Open. And we're going to see if we can get it right. We've got 30 seconds to answer.
That is right. So you went first with a question last week. I shall go first with a question this week. We have to give each other a bit of US Open trivia if you're just joining us.
Is it another history one?
This one isn't. I went for something a little bit more, taking a leaf out of your book. I've gone a bit more fun.
Oh, finally.
I know. but it'd probably be more difficult than the history ones. The history ones, at least I give you multiple choice. This one, I don't think I'm gonna. So anyway, right, I'm gonna go to the question, and then I'll get the 30-second timer ready. So, if you remember last year's US Open,
Yeah.
we had so many great things going on around the channel, all the great matches. But we had one video that was put out. It wasn't by us. It was actually by one of our comms team, Nicolette. She made a video about the US Open cocktail, the honey juice. What was the price at the US Open
Oh, come
of
on.
the honey juice cocktail in 2022? And I'll give you within $2. Go.
I was thinking the question, you might want to make it a bit quieter.
Oh, well.
I was thinking the question you was going to ask is, what was the video on? And I was thinking, I know what it is. It's a cocktail. But now you've asked me something about the cocktail, so I'm even more confused.
I went around the houses.
I reckon it's not going to be that expensive, but I reckon it's about $10.
Okay.
I need to get it within cocktail. I'm gonna say okay, I've got a number. I'm gonna go 11. So I wait for the music.
Yeah.
I'm going for 11.75.
Oh, well, I can announce that is incorrect. It was, in fact, $22.
Really?
Yeah.
What,
You
for
think
one
Wimbledon's? You think Wimbledon's pricey?
For one cocktail is $22.
$22. I know. I know from personal experience going to just a baseball match. The prices of drinks and stuff there are ridiculous.
Yeah,
I was
that's
like, no
insane.
way. For like even a pint of beer was like over $10. Or I was just shocked by the prices at sports events in America. But I guess if
I didn't
people
know
pay
that.
it.
I've not actually been to a sporting event in America. I've been to a lot of pubs and bars in America, and I didn't think it was too expensive. But of course, you got to factor in all the tips as well.
Yeah, I know. God,
Messed that up badly. Then I didn't have a clue.
No worries, but at least you know to avoid buying drinks when you go to the US Open. Take a lot of money with you if you're going. That's all I'll say. I don't know if they let you sneak in a few beers like they do at Wimbledon. Probably not.
No, definitely not. Right, my question is about history.
Oh no, we swapped.
It's not actually too much history, but it's just an interesting one. So, I don't feel like we could do this segment, the whole of the US Open, without speaking about one very, very special player, or multiple very special players, or special names regarding the US Open.
Whoa.
That name I'm referring to is Williams.
Oh.
There's two of them who have done extremely well at the US Open. We're speaking about, of course, the women's. We're speaking about Serena and Venus. My question to you is a two-part question, but you can only get one mark, Ben, because one of them's a 50-50.
Oh, God.
But basically the question is this. Who won the US Open first, Serena or Venus? And what year was it?
All right, let's start off. Well, we know that Venus was on the scene first out of the two of them, and she was the one winning the slams. So I'm going to go with Venus winning it first. Maybe it's a trick question. Maybe it's because she's older. You think I'll pick her. But the year that she won it, oh my word. She's got to really wind back the clock now.
This is a big US Open question, Ben.
Yeah, I know. Is it going to be... I should have done my homework. Something like 2004? I'm going to go with. There you go. Venus in 2004.
I can confirm you was 100% wrong.
Yeah, I thought so.
It was, in fact, Serena Williams who won the US Open before Venus, and she won it in 1999.
Oh, there you go.
Serena
Miles off.
Williams won in 1999, beating Martina Hingis in the final in straight sets, 6-3, 7-6. And then the following year, Venus Williams beat Lindsay Davenport in 2000.
I always forget that they were in the 90s, the Williams. It's just so, it feels like I was feeling rude if I was to put, say, a 9. I was going to go like 94 or something. I was like, no, come on. That's like rude to think that they were winning it back then. But no, they were.
Steffi Graf was in her heyday. That's
probably where my mind goes back to, Steffi Graf. Oh dear. Well, there's another incorrect one for me. Chalk me up.
You even got the 50-50 part wrong.
That's why I said it was like in my mind, it makes sense to pick Venus because she was the older one. But
Can
then
you
it's
believe
like a
that
trick.
you won it before Venus?
Credit to her.
There we
I
go.
can't.
That's the tennis shootout. Another 0% from both of us. Tennis experts, some would say. Let's move on to the next segment of this the countdown, and it's called Rankings Update. Over to you, Ben.
Oh, you loved passing the baton to me on this one. Right, we can just go over and we can just have a look at how some of the men's have changed. Obviously, the main mover would be Jannik Sinner, and we were just talking about Alex de Minaur as well. You can see entry ranking was 18 for de Minaur, and now he's up to number 12. Jannik Sinner, entry was 8. Now he's up to number 6, which is fantastic for him. If he has a good Cincinnati, who knows? Maybe he can go even higher there. Having a look down that list, what about Gael Monfils? I expect him to be shifting up a few notches.
I don't think it really matters for him because he's got a protected ranking on 400 anyway, so he's always going to be in.
Yeah, he's all the way
I'm
down
more fascinated to see where he actually is in the rankings now.
211 now, so
Yeah,
I think
he's cut it in half then.
Yeah, he's
Feel
jumped.
like he was way out to like 400 or something. Crazy to see Vesely 400 in the world. Didn't really expect that.
Yeah.
Who's some of the players who are quite lucky as well? Is anyone else who's dropped quite low if you go up a little bit?
No one's really.
No,
Who have
probably
we
not
got?
who are defending the
Arnaldi?
points.
No, he's moved. Arnaldi's moved up. Yeah.
Yeah.
Can't see anybody who's really. There's not been too much movement, to be honest, in these original entries by the looks of it. Let's just have a look at some of these alternates as well. We're just sort of waiting in the wings to just. We got Kwan up there. Watanuki, someone that he's up to, what's that, 90 at the moment in the world. That's pretty impressive.
There's a lucky one. Zepieri. Entry ranking 117.
Yes.
Currently 141.
Yeah, dropping down. A few of these people, like players, are moving up. Garin's trying to move his way through some of the rankings at the minute as well, which is good to see.
Yeah, Garin for me should be at the US Open, top player.
And just to have a look through, we've got the list of the women's like entry, but this is just like the original listing. Obviously, Jen Brady has been playing pretty well. She did well in the Canadian Open. She's coming back to form a little bit now. Brady could be one to watch.
Yeah, maybe.
Go to the live ranking so we can see where people actually are now.
Yeah, Vondrousova, new career high, 9 in the world.
Amazing.
Kvitova just clinging on to the top 10 still. Krajcikova, we're not speaking about her much.
No, she hasn't really done a lot, has she?
Quiet, isn't she?
Yeah, she's in this tournament in Cincinnati, so maybe we'll get to see something from her this week.
I thought we've got to speak about Kudermetova as well, who lost to Venus Williams today.
I mean, fair play, Venus Williams, I have to say. I didn't really give her a chance.
No.
I
don't think many people did. I feel her just being able to go out there and still play competitive tennis is actually insane.
Yeah.
To beat Kudermetova, who's someone you had winning the Australian Open, just to remind you. It's crazy.
Which Australian Open? That's 2 years ago. No, a year ago.
No, it was this year.
No, it wasn't. It was Nissimova this year, wasn't it? Oh, no, that was my pre-pick.
You had Kudermetova in the draw. What are you talking about? Yeah.
Oh, all right.
That's why people stopped watching us, I think. since that.
I don't know. I think you had Felix to win Wimbledon. I thought that's why they stopped.
That was that was a long time ago. That was over a year ago.
No, surely not. That was up there with the Contenders one, that one.
Now, this is good to have a look down because all I'm doing now is scouting for the next segment, which is going to be the surprise package. And I need to find a player who's relatively low ranked who could do something because there'll be a lot of points on, out there if I can get someone who's low ranked who does well.
Yeah, there are some players that are coming back to form. What's that? Look at that. Paolini. She's been playing well recently, up 4 places in the qualifying.
I don't think she'll do well.
Okay. You got, didn't you have Andreescu added to yours last week?
Yeah.
But yeah, there's Tatiana Maria. She do anything for you?
No. I think that's enough of the rankings update. Let's move on to surprise package.
Go on then.
So this is where we'll add a player. We're going to work out the point system. And basically how it will work is out of me and Ben, we will each add a male and a female player. So an ATP WTA player to our collection. You can see who we've got so far. I've got Eubanks, Lehechka, Berrettini, and on the women's, Keys, Fernandez, Andreescu. You've got Hachanos, Zverev, Shelton. On the women's, Andreeva, Svitolina, Parks. You're missing your A there, Ben. But
oh, sorry.
You're getting the Andreev.
Yeah, that's it. No, the keys on this keyboard are constantly like falling off. So
Andreev has had a sex change.
That's it. I'm going for Andreev on the men's instead. Right. So let's start. As we were just looking at the women's, we can go over to the women's and pick our next surprise package. I think I was going to pick one last week and I sort of went against it and went with Parks. So this part of me feels that I should have just continued and not picked Parks and gone for the other one I was going to pick, which I don't know if you were aware of, or it's actually someone called Emma Navarro.
Really? You're going to put her on there?
Yeah.
You're desperate for some points here, aren't you? Because Navarro will get ridiculous points.
Navarro.
So how it will work is we'll rank all of your players from 1 to 5 in rankings. The lowest ranks will get the most points, and the highest ranks will get the most. But rather than do it that way, maybe we'll combine them and just do it together and work out a ranking system. But the lower the ranked player, the more points they get for each round they go through. My player, or do you want to speak about Navarro quickly?
Well, I can do. I mean, the thing that she was impressing me with earlier on, like she's playing Cincinnati at the moment. She just beat Leylah Fernandez. That's one good player to be beating on your lead up to the US Open. She beat Marino as well. She bagel and breadsticked her. And she was doing quite well on the grass. That's when she sort of like came, and on the clay as well. I think she's actually a good player on all surfaces. And in fact, she's American as well. She's moving up the rankings. She's 22 years old and she's nearly into the top 50. And no one's really speaking about her. But I feel that this could be somebody, if she gets a decent draw at the US Open, she might, that the whole occasion really might like boost her through the tournament. And I don't know, I'm going to go for it. I'm going for a couple of young Americans in there, Parks and Navarro.
I'm so happy you picked her because I don't think she's going to do any good at the US Open. And you didn't pick who I picked, who is going to be Danielle Collins.
I knew you were going to pick her. It was so obvious.
Really? No, why didn't you pick her then?
No, because I saw her there and I was just like, nah. It's an obvious one. Somebody's already done well and said, been to a slam final. It's a bit of an obvious pick. So I was going for someone.
One was going to get all the points. It's a surprise package because people don't see her winning the US Open. She could trouble a lot of players and go extremely far. Just beating Leylah Fernandez, Sakari, and Svitolina, and took a set off Iga in Montreal. Watch out, Danielle Collins, US Open, home soil, got the ability to do extremely well. And I think she's going to bag a lot of points because she is 34 in the rankings. Danielle Collins could be that player who beats Pegula in the quarterfinals.
Exciting. Right.
On to the men's.
Well, there's probably the men's, I feel that there should be players that we should definitely pick. And if we don't pick them, we're a bit silly. But it's just about who picks each one, I think. It has to be outside the top 10. Has to be noted.
Yep.
Actually, I'm having a look, and
I've got a few names.
there's quite a lot of names that are outside
There's
the
a
top
lot
10.
of names.
Like you've already to say we've already got JG has Eubanks, Lehechka, Berrettini. I have Hachanov, Zverev, and Shelton. But there are a lot of names that are down low.
It depends if they have a good draw.
The people we were just speaking about literally earlier in the pod, and we got Alex de Minaur at 12, and I feel like it'd be rude after bigging him up quite a lot not to pick him. But I don't think I am going to pick him. I think I'm going to pick Hubie Hurkacz.
What ranking is he?
19th.
Yeah, it's a 1-pointer.
Damn it.
You'll only get a point for him.
I've got 3 big servers. What am I doing?
Yeah, I can tell what you're doing. I'm actually going to go. I think I'm going to go for.
No.
I really don't know whether to or not.
Cam Norrie.
No, I think I'm going to go for Gal Monfils.
Whoa, what's he, 420 in the world?
No, 211 in the world. So he'll be the highest ranked player by far. You're not going to pick anyone more. So he'll get maximum points.
By the end of this week, he might be top 10.
And all he needs is to go for a few rounds and he'll tank up my scores massively. So I think Monfils is a very, very, very
hopefully he gets Djokovic second round then.
Very, very smart addition.
Well, unless he gets Djokovic second round.
I like him.
What, to beat Djokovic?
I think it's a good one, Ben.
Plays Alcaraz second round. That's what I mean. When you're low ranked, you could end up facing someone like that.
He could, and that's the only issue. But if he don't and there's an all right draw, then that's a points machine there.
You know he's going to get Tsitsipas.
You can beat him.
I know he's going to knock out Tsitsipas. Tsitsipas is just going to be there off in New York with Badoza again. He's going to do another Wimbledon off sightseeing. But anyway,
just looking at the 2 lists of names, though, I do like my ones. I don't think they're too bad at all. But let us know in the comment section, whose list do you prefer, Ben's or mine? These are our surprise packages. Let us know yours in the comment section underneath this video. If you haven't already, of course, make sure hit the like button. We do bring these countdown episodes every Monday leading up to a Grand Slam. And of course, we're only going to get another 2 countdown episodes in now.
Yep. Right. Well, let's wrap that one up. Like you said, 14 days to go. I can't wait. Cincinnati is on all this week. Make sure to stay tuned on GTL. We'll be bringing you some more matches and news.
For sure. Thanks for watching, everyone. And we'll see you very soon. Ciao, ciao.